From hashtags to power. How Kenya's Gen Z is writing politics online. What begins as hashtags and short stories has evolved into political power. Kenya's Gen Z is now shaping politics online. Politics in Kenya no longer happens only in parliament or at rallies. Today, it unfolds through social media live streams, reels, and memes. Kenyan Gen Z uses digital platforms not just for entertainment. Recently, they used TikTok to coordinate and share directions to parliament during protests against the finance bill. They successfully stormed a restricted area despite tight security. The president backed down and announced he would not sign the bill. But this raises important question. Is this real civic engagement or simply digital noise? Kenya has one of the youngest population in Africa. Gen Z consumes news, debate policy, and challenges leaders online. Political messaging is no longer controlled solely by traditional media. Young population now reinterprets speeches, remakes campaign clips, and turn political statement into memes. To understand this shift, we apply Hall's encoding and decoding theory. Hall's urged that media encode messages with intended meanings. However, audience actively decode these messages, sometimes accepting, negotiating, or opposing them. In Kenya's digital space, Gen Z often takes an oppositional stance, especially when disrupting political elites. This shows young audiences are active interpreters, not passive consumers. What are some of the views of communication expertise?
Where do you usually get your political information?
I always get them from social media platforms.
Do you trust the political information in social media?
Yes, I do trust them because there is where I always get first-hand information.
Then have you ever participated in political discussion in social media?
Being that politics has been my area of interest, I always participate in those online discussions to get more information, to be educated in some part.
We see a shift in political participation rather than attending physical rallies. Many young people express opinions through retweets, comments, live stream, and digital campaign. Let us turn to Antonio Gramsci's cultural hegemony. Antonio argued that ruling group maintain power not only through force but through consent by shaping dominant ideas in the society. Traditionally, elite shapes narratives through mainstream media and state institutions. However, social media disrupts this dominance. When Gen Z creates critical memes or challenge official narratives, they engage in counter-hegemonic discourse. If hegemony depends on consent, then online dissent suggests this consent is being questioned. Is online Gen Z activism shape democracy in Kenya?
Online participation by Gen Zs, or how Gen Zs dominate online space when they agitate for their representation, really shapes the democracy and how leaders conduct themselves in the country.
Is it a real activism or it is just slacktivism?
I believe, once more, that this is a real thing. I mean, when Gen Zs come out, they draft very, very powerful hashtags and political memes to critique the government, or rather critique the politicians and the leaders they elect. By so doing, they bring the limelight and also they shed light about the activities and conducts of the leaders. This helps to keep the leaders on toes.
The expert highlights a key tension. While social media expands democratic participation, it also has limits. This connects to political economy of media theory. Digital platforms are corporate owned. Algorithms decide what goes viral, trends, or remain invisible. So, while Gen Z seems empowered, their expression is still shaped by platform structure and algorithmic control. There is also an issue of selectivism. Liking or sharing may create an illusion of participation without meaningful offline action. However, dismissing digital activism ignores power to set national agendas, mobilize youth, challenge authority, and increasing political awareness. The line between online and offline activism is increasingly blurred. Kenya will hold general election in 2027. Digital communication has both merits and demerits. There are cases where aspirants demand to prove voters who voted for them to receive payment. Is this election rigging? Is there a law preventing this? Uganda recently held elections where citizen journalists played a critical role. Through social media live stream, the world could observe the process and result at polling stations. This raises a question. Is digital space truly democratic or just differently controlled? Kenyan Gen Z is not political. They are political in new language, a digital language. Through memes, hashtags, live stream, and commentary, they negotiate political meanings and challenge dominant narratives. Using HAL's the encoding and decoding model, the youth actively reinterpreting political message. Through Antonio's cultural hegemony, we understand online dissent challenges traditional power structures. Whether this leads to long-term structural change remains uncertainty. But one thing clear, the political arena in Kenya has expanded and Gen Z play critical role.